Most Americans cannot afford to live right now.
Paying Americans is just getting way too expensive. And if you live in the United States, you know inflation is still out of control and the cost of living everywhere is out of control.
I'm wondering if anybody else is feeling like they're drowning and they can't get out. I work overtime and I cannot get above water.
Groceries were up to 33%, the highest price in over 50 fucking years.
Rent is out of this world, whether it's in the hood or not.
I don't know who's out here living the American dream, but I can tell you one person who isn't, and that's me.
I want to be able to live comfortably off of the money that I fucking make without having to decide what I can and can't pay, when I can and can't pay it, because I don't have the money to pay everything that I need to take care of. I don't fucking have a bunch of shit. I'm not an expensive person. I don't have a bunch of expensive things in my house. None of that. My light bill is $400 fucking dollars a month. That's not fucking normal.
Every time I leave the house, it costs me money. Gas, groceries, rent. It seems like my wallet just can't catch a break. Let's talk about this cost of living crisis. Check this out.
I have this theory that a lot of major corporations are moving jobs outside of the US. Paying Americans is just getting way too expensive. And if you live in the United States, you know inflation is still out of control and the cost of living everywhere is out of control. So, from a business perspective, it obviously makes sense to pay the same people that can do the same job, but pay them overseas where they can pay them less because the cost of living is less. Not only that, but AI is getting to the point where it's going to be taking a lot of jobs. I think in the United States, we're just screwed. If you know or think that your company is also doing this, moving jobs abroad instead of hiring Americans, let me know in the comments. I want to see something.
It's time for the Federal Reserve to stop holding the economy back. Inflation has fallen since its peak under the Biden administration, and we are now in an area where it is more stable. Yet the Federal Reserve is continuing to keep interest rates high for mortgages, for car loans, etc. Some of these bigger ticket items that if people were allowed to have a lower interest rate, we could get the economy moving on. But they're not doing that. I don't know what they're scared of. And the sheer fact that it has been 2 years at this point since President Trump took office, and they are still refusing to lower the interest rate, is going to continue to be a problem for us economically. Now, luckily, they didn't raise it, but them keeping it the same is just as bad as them raising it. So the Federal Reserve really needs to get off their butt, and in the next quarter, they need to drop interest rates dramatically so that the economy can outpace what inflation there is.
I'm just on here wondering if anybody's feeling the same way I'm feeling. I'm from Illinois, and I feel like the gas prices and the electric bills and the prices of food is just so overwhelming anymore. Like, I'm wondering if anybody else is feeling like they're drowning and they can't get out. I work overtime and I cannot get above water. I mean, I literally have no gas for next week. It was either that or get a few groceries to get by. I hit my local food pantries. I'm just wondering if anybody else feels like they're drowning. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great day.
So do you think Trump got the note? Did you see on the news today that groceries were up to 33%, the highest price in over 50 fucking years? And this son of a bitch has the nerve to say, prices are going down, we're doing great. I get so sick and tired of hearing this, how great we're all doing. Has this guy ever shopped for groceries? I don't think so. 33 fucking percent it's up. 33%. So Donald Trump, I hope somebody shares this to him. Maybe you better listen to the people that help get you into office because they're fucking struggling. They can't afford to feed their fucking children. And you keep, you just over there, you're at the Chevy dealership just a couple days ago and replacing all your fucking cars with brand new Escalades because you people in your group, they all like to ride in style. Well, ain't that nice? You're riding around in fucking Escalades and we got people eating all these Fruit Loops because that's all they can afford. Aldi's Fruit Loops. Would you ever eat that? No. You've never shopped. You've never cooked. You just sit around being hand-served food, catered to, living a life of luxury, mocking and laughing at all the people that voted you in. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Most Americans cannot afford to live right now. Grocery prices, healthcare costs, housing, and just the most basic of entertainment is cost prohibitive for so many Americans. Our president ran on all of these campaign promises about making life affordable for Americans. And so many people believed him 77 million. How is that working out for you? Because from my vantage point as a therapist, things are so bad with no plan for improvement. Depression and anxiety are through the roof, but yet people can't even afford to come in for therapy. The people who need help the most cannot get it. This is the United States of America, the richest country in the world, but only works if you're in the top 1%. Most of us are regular people just trying to exist, and we are struggling. We are struggling.
It's too expensive to live on Long Island. It really is. To have a decent life on Long Island, you have to be pulling in at least 100K plus. Rent is out of this world, rather it's in the hood or not. Places like Amityville, Wyandanch, Copeg, they're building up a lot of apartments, which is great, but the rent is crazy. So this pushes people to move further out east in places like Shirley, Mastic, Bellport, Medford, because it's too expensive to live out west. Even those areas are now expensive. Let's not get started with the extra activities that you put the kids in. Those have even gone up. Let's not get started if they compete on top of those regular monthly payments that you pay. But like PSEG is ripping us off, National Grid is ripping us off. It's crazy. So our goal is to move to North Carolina within the next few years, but it's still expensive. It's like no matter where we go, it's going to be expensive. But I know it'll be a lot cheaper than living on Long Island.
No one really talks about the level of disappointment felt as a Gen Zer to do literally everything right and still have nothing. Working hard, getting the degrees, following that grand life plan that the older generations told us to follow in order to achieve stability and success, and realizing that you're never going to have that life. As a matter of fact, that life does not even exist anymore. I always grew up hearing, go to school, don't chase boys, don't get pregnant, just one track mind towards your goal. And I did all of that, and I'm still here. I thought after I graduate, I'd be able to get that job, get that car, buy that house, max out that 401k, have that whole white picket fence kind of dream life. That version of adulthood that made all the struggles worth it. But the reality that we're faced with is that everything is super expensive, feels super unattainable and unrealistic at this point. I'm grateful to be alive and all. Like, I know that some people definitely have it worse in life, but I always just find myself these days just like mourning the life that I thought I would have. Like, who would have literally thought that after all the struggles that I went through and all of the hoops that I had to jump through, I'll be here today working a minimum wage job, literally living paycheck to paycheck. Like, there's no money right now to my name, and even for like the basic necessities, I find myself having to like dip into things like credit file loans, etc. Always using Klarna, Afterpay if I even want to get anything, and it just really sucks.
Society is a fucking scam. So you wake up early in the morning to go to work to pay for a house that you're never at, and you pay for a car that primarily gets you from and to work, correct? The government takes anywhere from, let's say 30 to 50% of your wages. And then there's things like VAT, which is basically your money getting taxed that was already taxed. You save up your whole life for a pension, which at the end of the day, the government takes 40 to 50% of that. Then in your elder years, you're living off canned soup and fucking bread because that's all you can afford. And then you get your state pension, which you can't get until you're like 180 years old. And even with that, if you die before you get it, you can't even pass it down to your kids. The government takes it. We are all getting scammed so fucking bad. It's almost comical. People don't see this shit. How can you work 40 or 50 hours a week, especially nowadays, to pay for fucking nothing? So figure 200 hours a month, you give your life to a corporation. And then halfway through the month, you're struggling to get to payday. Sounds pretty fucking familiar, doesn't it? We're giving our lives away for nothing. It is a scam. We're losing more by going to work than staying our asses home. All a big scam. It's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
I don't know who's out here living the American dream, but I can tell you one person who isn't, and that's me. I have 4 kids and I'm working 3 jobs and I'm still struggling. My full-time job, I'm a 911 dispatcher. My other 2 jobs, a waitress. The American dream should not be this hard. I should not have to be working my life away, being away from my kids. You know, sometimes I have to pick. Am I going to pay my electric bill or am I going to buy groceries? Because my kids need to eat. This is not the American dream. I'm so tired of struggling. You know, so many people are going to work, working multiple jobs just to pay for a house to sleep in, just to put their head down at night. This is not the American dream, not my American dream. That's why I started posting here on TikTok. So hopefully I can slow down some so I can spend time with my kids. Life shouldn't be this hard. I know one person that's making 6 figures and they're still struggling. Why's it gotta be so hard? Anyways, if you want to help this mama out from struggling, you know what to do. I'm headed into work to work at Buffalo Wild Wings today. I have to work a double, say a prayer, I make some money.
I'm burnt out trying to win this rat race here in America. So I'm taking control of my life and moving abroad. I got 41 days left before my contract starts to go to Korea. I would hate to waste my whole life talking about, I wish I would have tried it, or I wish I would have accepted that opportunity, when opportunities are presented to us all the time. People go their whole lives and never take that opportunity that they really wanted, or took that chance that really would have changed their life in ways that can't be replicated. You know, you only get so many opportunities in life, and I was offered an opportunity to go make great money in Korea, and I'll see y'all there. I've been working towards this it's been a long time now. I want to say just about a year, getting to this point where I was able to get the opportunity, sign a contract, and have everything in motion. But I'm gonna keep y'all along with me in this journey, letting y'all see whenever I'm learning my Korean and just getting myself ready for this transition. But I am so excited. Y'all don't understand. I will not be coming back to America. Oh, how do you know that? You know how many countries they got out there, my boy, that are actually taking care of their citizens? They ain't being expunged for all they pennies. Come on. Y'all better wake up and do some research.
I totally get that. And as somebody from like a working class background, I understand the sentiment behind that. However, there's a lot of people in America who are homeless right now because they literally like can't afford to live. Like our government says that it's only 500,000 people, but I believe that the true number of homeless people in North America is actually in the millions. And the government has done nothing to address the cost of living crisis, and it's literally driving people out. And unfortunately, like no matter where you live or where you come from, if you can't afford where you live, then you have no choice but to move. Gentrification is a problem all over the world, including in America. It seems to be this vicious cycle, but the problem is that people keep blaming individuals who are affected by gentrification, rather than greedy landlords, corporations, and governments who are actually responsible for driving up the cost of living in the first place. In my personal situation, and I'm sure I'm not alone, if I went back to my own country, I would literally be homeless because I don't have a perfect background and perfect credit and an extremely high income. So when the alternative is homelessness, I don't know. I really don't know what to say. I mean, it sucks, and I certainly feel for the people here, but hatred and xenophobia is not the answer to the economic issues that are affecting people. What really needs to change is the government policies and these corporations that are exploiting people in the first place. Oh, and also, we need to ban corporate landlords in North America because they're literally causing people to be homeless.
Thousands of Americans, probably even millions, are saying that the wages are way too low and the cost of living is way too high. And for a lot of people, this is true. But the consumer reports say something completely different. The consumer report says that we can afford the cost of living because we buy so many unnecessary things. And the numbers just get crunched into categories. And they looking at the unnecessary purchases, like things that don't actually need to be bought, but people still buy them. And the consumer report is not taking into accountability. Some of these people really can't afford the things that they are buying that are unnecessary, but people still do them. Then you got the middle class, they shop all the time. You know, they maybe can afford it, but for the most part, a lot of people buy things that they really can't afford. So the consumer reports say that we can afford the cost of living because if we could buy the things that we want, we should be able to get the things that we need, right? We should always put money to the side for things that we need. But a lot of people don't think this way. So that's why the cost of living is skyrocketing, is because people just buy things that they really don't need. Once the consumers stop consuming so much, the prices have to fall back down. That's what they have to do. That's supply and demand. You know, when people can't afford to buy things, they stop buying them. So the prices have to match what they could afford. So the prices have to drop. But we're saying that we could afford it no matter the cost when a lot of people really can't. So until we stop consuming so many unnecessary things, then the cost of living is not going to go down. It's going to continue to rise until we can stop consuming so much in order for the prices to drop. Common sense.
So I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to what's going on out here, but I'm gonna put y'all up on something. This year will more than likely be the last year you see an income tax. Yeah. If y'all ain't reading and y'all ain't looking this stuff up, don't say I ain't warned you. Don't come on here talking about she don't know what she talking about. Oh, that's not true. Play with it. Okay? Play with it. I told y'all about that Section 8. Look what's happening now. I told y'all what's going to happen with HUD. Look what's happening now. Okay. So, as of this year, y'all president have turned the I and R and S from IRS into the external company, okay? Which means that your company, all y'all who work for them W-2s, will now be subcontracting you and turning you into a 1099 because now you will be held responsible to pay your own taxes, which a lot of y'all who don't pay taxes and don't have taxes withheld, the same way you doing it now is the same way it's going to happen. So a lot of y'all going to have to pay taxes up front when it's time to, y'all going to have to pay taxes, okay? Y'all going to have to pay taxes. You're going to be responsible to pay your own taxes. There will no longer be an income tax because you won't get taxed. And don't say I ain't warn y'all.
Credit has now become easier for you to do your own credit. You don't have to pay nobody to fix your credit for you. What you need to do is go grab your credit report. I'm going to put y'all on game. Go grab your credit report, upload it into ChatGPT, and tell ChatGPT to give you letters and codes to use to dispute the stuff off of your credit report, and then send them, certified mail them into the credit bureau, and wait 30 to 45 days and watch them letters work. Watch them work. Don't say I ain't tell y'all. I'm going to be hosting a free credit class after the tax season is over. I'm going to put together, not free, let me not say that. Y'all going to pay me for this class because I'm going to put y'all up on game. When I drop this class, I don't want to hear nothing. Y'all got y'all tax money. Y'all can pay for whatever y'all want. Invest them tax money into a class that's going to teach you how to fix your own credit so y'all can go buy a house. Do you plan on renting for the rest of your life? Do you plan on staying in the ghetto for the rest of your life? Do you plan on staying at the bottom for the rest of your life? Y'all plan on staying in Section 8 for the rest of your life? Okay, so for the people who know that God created you for more, and for the people who know that God created you for better, and that this is not your life, this is just a season of your life where you're down, but you about to pull yourself back up, pay attention, hit the follow button, leave me a comment. I don't care if y'all come on here and spread no negativity. That's on you. That shows me how hateful you are, girl. I love me some me. I ain't got time to hate on nobody. I don't hate on nobody, and I damn sure don't wait on nobody. I'm your girl boss. I'm gonna see y'all at the top, baby, because the bottom is too crowded. Ready to file your taxes? Let's go. Last year, let's get it.
Like, it's really getting ridiculous. It's just no reason why stuff should be costing this much. Man, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm so tired of going to these stores, getting 5 items, and when you get the total, it's $100. Baby, what did I get? Baby, what did I get? Why did I only get 5 items and it's $100? Like, the grocery stores and food and water just has went up too tremendously for me. Every time they give me a total, I'm like, babe, what did I get? Because I'm confused as to what made it $100. All I got was a pack of chicken, some asparagus, some sweet potatoes, some rice cakes, and some water. That was 106. Why? Why? I just don't understand why everything. Baby, you used to could get 100 items for $100 back in the day. I remember that. Now, that's why everybody's struggling now. Then you be like, okay, let me go out to eat. Go out to eat, spend the $200 for 2 meals. So, baby, you just can't win for losing. Like, it's getting ridiculous out here. That's why people is struggling. Rent high, gas high. Baby, I got a BMW, a little two-door. Take $65 to fill it up. Why $65 for this little car? I'm just confused. Why is rent $2,200 for a 2-bedroom? And then y'all building these apartments with these cheap material, but the rent $2,000. It's not making no sense. And then the thing that pisses me off the most, why minimum wage to $7.25? Now y'all know food done went up, gas done went up, rent done went up, but the minimum wage still $7.25? What they do that is? Hair done went up, nails done went up. Y'all, these nails right here, they not long. Y'all see them. Ain't nothing fancy for real. All she did was mix the two, a tan, a light brown, and a dark brown, and put it on there, and did a little piece of strip of gold. That's how much this was. 120. Then 3 broke within a week. Why am I telling you 120? And then now working within a week. I goes back. So she fixed them all for free. Why the day she fixed them, another one broke? I don't understand why everything's steady going up. Steel presses over $120, but your hair blow up 2 hours later. I'm upset and I'm frustrated. I'm tired of spending all this money. Then in Houston, you can't even drive on the interstate without toll fees. Why? Why is everything costing? You can't park nowhere. It's $40 to park. Why? Some stuff need to be free. Oh, and if you don't pay the money, your car gonna get towed and to get your car out. That's gonna be $600. I just don't understand. To drive it costs. To park it costs. To eat it costs. To drink it costs. Everything's just costing too much, and I'm just tired. I'm tired.
First, let me start off by saying I normally don't say shit at all. I get on this app, I watch these videos, I make a couple other little funny videos or reaction, whatever the case may be. Cool. But I gotta open my mouth. I can't just sit idle anymore. I'm tired of this shit. On what fucking planet do you get a raise like 3 years prior to where prior to that raise, you were actually doing pretty fucking well? You were doing well. And now you make more. And yeah, of course, there'll be more taxes taken out. I get that. But there's no way that you should be making $5 more than what you were making. And everything is worse off than it was before. We can't sit here and act like that this shit's normal. When you live in a 2-income household where both people work 40 plus hours a week, and we are barely making it, this is a fucking problem. I feel for the ones who are making minimum wage or only have one income. I don't see how they're making it right now. And my heart goes out to them because I used to make minimum wage years ago. And I know that it don't really get you by much, but we even had a better chance then. We were surviving better then. I don't understand what the fuck the problem is. I don't understand what the hell happened, but I'm going to need for everyone to actually open up their eyes and see that this is some shit. We're being duped. I don't care. I said it. We're being duped. There is some fucked up shit going on. Nobody wants to fucking admit that shit. I mean, there are people that's actually, talking about it, but I feel like it's not enough. When are we going to say that enough is enough? When are we, the people, going to take the power in our hands and say, you know what? We're tired of this shit. We're tired of being fucking used and abused, and nobody's helping us. Nobody's doing anything. I don't want no fucking handout. I want to be able to live comfortably off of the money that I fucking make without having to decide what I can and can't pay, when I can and can't pay it, because I don't have the money to pay everything that I need to take care of. I don't fucking have a bunch of shit. I'm not an expensive person. I don't have a bunch of expensive things in my house. None of that. My light bill is $400 fucking dollars a month. That's not fucking normal. I live in Florida. I'm born and raised here, and I've never, until the last fucking year and a half, had lights that expensive. $400 fucking dollars. We need to fix this shit. We do. Because if we keep on letting everybody else run roughshod over us, we're gonna fucking lose. And it's gonna be a lot worse than what it is right now.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up. You can't. Shut up. Stop saying ridiculous things. An entry level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k, because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a 1-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy. That car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make 75 grand a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's 300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to. There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
So I saw this guy talk about like the cost of living and how he just can't afford to live. And I feel like I need to talk about like how bad I think it's gotten in the US. Because I think it's gotten really, really bad. Like we know it's bad, but it's so 5 years ago in 2020, I graduated from college and I had a job offer within like 3, 4 weeks after graduating college. And I moved to downtown Dallas at the time, and I lived in a studio apartment, and I believe it was like 905 a month. Had a view downtown. It wasn't in the best part. Botman Jean unfortunately did get murdered there, but it was a really affordable apartment, and I made about $40,000 a year, so I could afford it, and it was great. I went and I looked back, and the studios that I lived in are now almost double what I paid, which is insane to me. Also, when I was in college, I always got groceries at Aldi's and I could get meat and everything I needed for 1 week for one person. It was about 45 to 50 US dollars. I went to Aldi's a couple days ago, bought groceries for me and my partner, and excluding meat because I buy my meat from a local farm. So just getting like fruits, vegetables, and like crackers. You don't really get snacks, and like grains and stuff like that. It ended up being about $100. Obviously, I spent the majority of my 20s living in the EU, and I've only lived back in the US for 1 year, but I can just say that I think it's gotten extremely expensive. 40K a year would have been a really, really good salary 5 years ago, in a low cost of living area, but it's not. I bought my house last July. And if I were to buy my house again, for example, I could not afford it. They built an apartment complex that you can rent right next to my building. I Googled how much people are paying to rent in these apartments, similar floorage. Honestly, part of it's a basement unit, and it is about like $500 to $600 more than my mortgage. They're also building $1 million townhouses 2 blocks away from the street that I live in. I literally could not afford, aside from like losing my job and all those other variables, I literally could not afford to buy my house again. And if it wasn't for the property taxes that I don't pay property taxes, I would not be able to own a house. But yeah, it's really, really jarring to see how expensive it's gotten, and how devastating it is. And I'm always really grateful I don't have kids, because imagine you're a family of four and you have to feed four people and you don't make even $100,000 a year. Like, it is insane. And then housing is $2,500. I went looking because I wanted to move to a different part of the city, rent out my condo, and then rent some part in the city, thinking it might be cheaper. I toured a bunch of apartments. You are getting less space. You're getting 25, like you're paying $2,500, maybe $2,800 for a studio in Philadelphia. Obviously, if you're from New York, it's not that bad, but it's pretty expensive for locals here, especially given the median wage is not that high. It's insane.
It's extremely expensive. If you are feeling the pressure and the heat of the rising cost of living, you're not alone. Even high earners are coming out and saying it's extremely expensive. Money is not going as far as it used to.
We're all feeling it in different ways. Tell me what's costing you the most these days. And I'll see you around next time. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and follow for more videos. Happy every day.